It's time. It's time for Wonder Woman 84 spoiler-filled review.
Spoilers!
Yes.
If you've seen it, stay tuned. You can listen to it. If not, log off now. Come back in a week after you've watched it, or if you don't give a shit, just listen to it. And here we go. Okay. So, Wonder Woman 84. Again, we're not going any non-spoiler shit or anything like that. So I'll start. And I'm going to say, this is the worst fucking movie, comic book movie I have ever seen in the history of... I even think Birds of Prey is fucking better than this movie.
What
this
about
sucked.
Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four is better than this movie.
The
This
Michael B. Jordan one?
Wow!
So hard. Everything about it was awful, except Gal Gadot looks good as Wonder Woman. It's horrible.
Wow!
There's a lot of things I want to break down about it, but I'll let you guys say what you think about it first.
I'll go.
Wow!
I didn't like it. I won't say it was the worst of all time. There were parts I liked some of the plot, but then it got kind of out of control quickly. So that kind of took me out of it, and I didn't like it in the end. But I don't think it was the worst ever.
Okay. Lance?
I'm with Brock. It wasn't good, but it definitely wasn't like Bloodshot or Fantastic Four level.
Bloodshot was good.
I
was.
So I actually watched it twice. The first time
Oh my God.
He loved it that much.
No, the first time through, I liked it. I recognized that there was a lot of stuff wrong with it, but it was okay. The second time through, because like I saw like people just shredding it online, and I was like, did I fall asleep and miss some of this shit? So like I went and watched it again, and my opinion did decrease after the second viewing.
Yeah.
It
sucks.
But it's wow. I didn't think it was quite as bad as you're talking about here.
Well, so let's go. Here's my thing with these movies now. I used to be a little bit more generous with reviews on these movies because they were so few and far between. But now we have so many. I mean, we have a huge library of these movies, and there's been some really good ones, and there's been some really bad ones. So you can't come at me anymore with, well, we threw some action and some CGI in there, and oh yeah, it's fun. No, I'm looking for a lot more in that now in these superhero movies than I was 10 years ago, where it was, wow, it was sparkly and shiny. So let's go at it for a few different things. First of all, the plot with it, it's basically just, let's have a love story in the 80s to an 80s backdrop so we can do funny 80s things, like 80s clothing and 80s things and 80s stuff, which was so fucking stupid, all right? So first you have Wonder Woman. The beginning of the movie, you have a 15-minute scene for nothing. Just showing you Wonder Woman so we can go back to Themyscira and we can have Robin Wright penning it again or whatever the hell her name is and have all these people return to the cast just to show that Wonder Woman, she was going to cheat and maybe cheat the system a little bit. But her aunt smacked her down and said, you don't cheat and, you don't get to win that way. And just for the end to tell her a stupid fucking story about Asteria, who isn't even anything. I mean, I looked through comic book references. I couldn't find really any reference to Asteria in the comic books, that she was some kind of like...
To explain the armor.
It's just to show the Kingdom Come armor, which is just the Kingdom Come armor. I mean, Wonder Woman wore that in the Kingdom Come storyline, then she wore it a few times in some of the other canon stories, but it was never anything special. It was just armor that she wore in the future. Go read Kingdom Come. She looks cool in the armor there. Patty Jenkins must have said, wow, that armor looks cool, so let's just introduce it. It's the Asteria armor, and only the most noble of warriors can like wear it. I was like, why is this beginning taking so long? Like, why are we in Themyscira for so much time just to watch the stupid fucking Themyscirian Olympics or whatever they had going on? It was awful. So the opening was awful. I don't know. You guys can respond to that. What do you think about the opening?
It was pointless.
It was
but
slow.
It was well shot.
Yeah, it was well shot.
It was
slow.
It was well shot, but it had no.
Again, I don't get points for being well
place in the
shot.
movie.
It was one of the better parts of the movie, though. It served no purpose, but...
So then we go to Wonder Woman, and she's in 1984. Now, if you remember in Justice League and in Wonder Woman's movie, after the events of World War One, she really kind of gave up on humanity and was gone for a while. I mean, it was really Justice League and Batman that brought her out of the shadows and brought her out of like the mainstream and made her like start being a superhero again. Then why in '84 was she saving everybody out in public? I mean, yeah, she knocked out the cameras and there was like, but she was out like being a hero. I mean, there's really no difference of what she was doing in that movie to what she was doing at the end of Justice League, where she was foiling a bank robbery and returning all the art. It's the same thing. So what was the whole point of Wonder Woman, the first movie, and Justice League, that she turned away from mankind after the events of World War One? It's bullshit.
So the way I read an article about that, and that was basically that was Joss Whedon's thing. That wasn't part of Zack Snyder's Justice League. That was changes Joss Whedon made, and Patty Jenkins refused because nobody likes the
In the first Wonder Woman. In the first Wonder Woman, she literally says, like, after the events of World War One, she like closed up again till like she reads the letter from Bruce at the end that like he needs her back in the world, and she decides, all right, I'm gonna go be in the world, and flies out like out of the art institute, like she's gonna be, you know, there's nothing in Wonder Woman 1 that like shows that like she took a little side trip in the 80s and did some superheroing. Like, and there would have been pictures of her, just like the only picture that Batman had on her was from World War 1, but like
They didn't
no
have
one had a
cameras then.
fucking Polaroid or any video. She knocked the video cameras out with her little tiara. It was just so stupid. There was like no reason to like, there's no reason for this movie to be in the 80s at all. Like,
No.
it should have just been right after the events of World.
First Cold War part.
Yeah, doing the missile things and all that. But I mean, you know, so
That was the only reason it was in the 80s, so they could force that.
they could do that on that, you know.
Well, that and it was the whole consumption thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, true.
which you could have done wish powers through cell phones, and it would have been just as effective. TikTok and Snapchat, you could have been mind controlling the whole planet that way, you know.
That's what we're doing right now with social media.
Yeah.
So you had that. Second, let's talk Maxwell Lord. All right.
I hated him.
I've read Maxwell Lord in comics before. One of the coolest story arcs in Maxwell Lord is when, I mean, if anyone knows, he got his powers from an alien race. He didn't have wish powers. He had basically Purple Man powers, right, from the Marvel universe. Hypnotic suggestions where he could control you, and it would cause pain to his head. His nose would bleed. He would get hurt from it. But Maxwell Lord got so powerful in the one arc that, remember, he was controlling Superman into like destroying cities and made Wonder Woman snap his neck to stop him. I mean, like, the guy has some really cool arcs that they've used him before. Here he was fucking granting wishes, and he had luck, like wish powers. Why did they do that? Why did they change that? That was like so asinine to me that he's, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grant wish powers. And he was just like looked like a Donald Trump knockoff. It was really dumb, that hairdo he had and all that shit that he was doing. He had a little kid. That wasn't Maxwell Lord to me. I thought they ruined it. What are your thoughts?
I didn't like that character at all.
No.
Max Lord is such a cool villain that they could have done something with in a Justice League movie or something. But now it's ruined.
And
They could have made the wish powers are cool, but they could have done it with something else.
And the way they tried to humanize him with the kid, and you know, his down on his luck sort of thing, the gripper
Yeah, it was just
angle.
a jerk.
It just sort of disrespected the character.
Right.
Yeah.
Maxwell Lord would have been cool seeing alongside Lex Luthor and Deathstroke, you know, messing with superheroes, giving them. We saw how well that worked in Jessica Jones, how cool of an ability that can be. Instead, he was just like, hey, do you want more help? Well, then wish for it. I wish there was more help. You got it. And then more help shows up. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then, like, he was putting up walls and all the other stupid shit that he was doing, taking over armies. Just, do you want some of that, Lance? Then wish for it, Lance. Oh, I wish it for it. And it was...
But then it was killing him.
It was killing him until he realized he could absorb people's like energy. I don't know.
Life force.
Well, no, he could wish for their life force.
Yeah, he could wish for their life force. They were all over, and then, you know, like, everyone had a little caveat. Like, You had Wonder Woman. She was losing her powers because Steve Trevor was here. Like she
Mhm.
wished him back to life. Whatever.
And he
But,
totally just killed some other guy to take his body.
Yeah, some other guy's life who was, and I read it on. I went back and because I didn't understand it, so I went back and read it in Wikipedia. And the way Wikipedia stated it was, Steve Trevor's body is then absorbed into a useless human who wasn't using his life. Okay, so the guy had an apartment and a career, but he wasn't using his life. He was a useless
I
human.
was going to say he had an apartment in Washington D.C. in the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
Whenever she ran into him at the end, he seemed like a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Trevor's
he was
making it
dressing
right.
stylishly.
So that was so fucking dumb. Then you had Cheetah. Now, Cheetah, I think, is one of my favorite DC villains. I mean, she's done so much in the comics. She's a Legion of Doom member. She's, established. She has a cool story. She's been reinvented a couple times, but the latest one they have now, she has that Amazonian god that she got her powers from. That, the way they do it, she's a cheetah and all that. This story was basically she's nerdy and dorky, and then she wished for to be cool like Diana, so she just got hot and dressed sexy and had cheetah print on and walked around for half the movie just being hot. Like, she was Cheetah for fucking 2 minutes at the end of the movie, and the CGI was fucking awful. It looked like a bad cat movie. It was so terrible.
It was like that Cats movie that bombed a couple of years ago.
It's even better probably than this shit. I mean, her story arc is so dumb. I was so disappointed in Cheetah because I was so looking forward to Cheetah being a main antagonist, and all she did when she was hot was bang Maxwell Lord because he was cool to her, and then she walked around town sexy, and guys were catcalling her. Every fucking guy in Washington D.C. is a rapist or like a sexual predator. They're all like, "Hey, baby, nice legs." Yeah. They're all out to get her, and she's just beating people up in the street. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then she's Cheetah for 2 minutes, and then that was it. So dumb. What do you think about Cheetah, Justin?
It was underutilized. They could have done it a lot better. But nobody paid any consequences in this film. Maxwell Lord, you never see what happens to him. He just loses his power and goes and gets his kid. Cheetah loses her cheetah form, but we don't know if whatever else. Maybe she only rescinded her last wish. So
that was Max's wish, though, because Diana pointed that out when we were watching it. She's like, how did she turn back? She must have rescinded her wish. I was like, well, that second wish that turned her into the cat monster was Maxwell's.
Yeah, she did wish to be an apex predator. I don't know how she got a second wish because most people weren't.
I didn't get that either.
Because I guess the first one was she got it. Her first wish she got from the actual stone, and the second one was Maxwell Lord giving her a wish.
And here's the thing with her: what was her drawback?
She lost her humanity.
She was losing her humanity.
Yeah, but she seemed pretty okay to me. She was hot, beating the shit out of people. It's not like
but that's the thing. She would never have done that before she made her wish.
She lost her friends.
It didn't seem like, like Wonder Woman's was a severe drawback. She was like literally dying and losing all of her power. Like Maxwell Lord, it was like killing him using it. She was just like, oh, like my friends don't like me anymore because I turned into a cat.
That was her. I mean, but that was what made her a character. Mm-hmm. She, her humanity. And it's supposed to be you lose what is most important to you.
That's important to you. Her relationship with Diana was so fucking rushed. They met in one scene, then the next scene it was like we're best friends. I was like, what is that? That movie, if you redo that whole movie and put that movie in take Maxwell Lord out, put it in modern times, make it just about a relationship between Barbara and Diana as friends on an expedition. She becomes Cheetah. Have them fight. You don't need any of the other horse shit in that movie at all. It's just all horse shit. It could have been just her fighting Cheetah. I don't know why it had to be like Max Lord's in the 80s and he's going to bomb everybody. And then I don't know when she became Spider-Man with all the fucking web swinging she was doing at the end of that movie. Like, is she flying or what? Like, she learned how to fly.
Web slinging, the flying, and actually, doing the little force ball to create the invisible jet.
That was stupid.
She didn't learn how to fly because in Justice League she doesn't know how to fly in
Yeah.
Batman vs Superman or in Justice League. She never flies in any of those movies at all. She just lands a couple times, but you never see her actually take off and launch. But in this movie, she did a lasso twirl that pulled her, swung from a fucking lightning bolt. Like, I don't know, like, all this newfound shit that she learned, like, none of that was later on in any other movies. And if she knew how to make shit invisible, why didn't you make Batman's plane invisible in Justice League to go attack?
Well, basically what they're saying is that these movies are the universe isn't connected anymore.
Yeah, which is so dumb.
So this is just another Warner Brothers.
The first movie because the same Steve Trevor's in it, so obviously it matters. That's what I mean. They don't know how to get their shit together. It's just random stupidness. And the other thing is, what the fuck was the point of the Asteria armor? She goes and puts it on and lands. Cheetah rips the shit out of the wings, and then she just beats Cheetah up. Like, it was so uneventful to put that armor on. They made 15 minutes to make a big fucking deal of it in the beginning of the movie, and then she shows up with it just so they can make a figure out of it. So McFarlane can make a figure out of it. That was the only fucking reason they had that armor on. And it was nothing. And again, if these movies are connected, wouldn't you have gone and got the Asteria armor to fight fucking Ares instead of Cheetah? I mean, shouldn't you have needed that Asteria armor in the first movie? Wouldn't you have stolen that right from the beginning instead of walking out of Themyscira with the red underwear on or whatever? I would have just stole the Asteria armor from the fucking beginning. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's such a pile of unrelated shit that that's why this movie is such garbage.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see her show up with that armor in Zack Snyder's version of Justice League.
Hopefully not, because it's dumb as shit.
The armor's cool.
Yeah, but what point did it serve, Brock? She showed up with it and nothing happened.
It looked cool.
Yeah, it was a cool scene to land. Lance, what did you think about the golden Asteria armor?
I mean, I'm with you. It really didn't serve any real purpose.
Other than a plot device to bring back
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter at the end of the movie.
That pissed me off. Like, I'm tired of them bringing back Linda Carter for everything involving superheroes.
Everything.
That are female.
Everything. She's on Supergirl, and then she had to be at the end of this movie. You know, it's just, what a stupid cutscene that was. I mean, so dumb. Oh, it's Asteria. Who the fuck is Asteria? I mean, all the Themyscira people you can use for reading Wonder Woman comics. We use a character we've never heard of.
Yeah, there's so many that could have been.
Just so she could, I'm going to go get this golden armor. So yeah, for all those reasons, I think it sucked ass. I mean, there was nothing in that movie that I was like, this, like, the only thing I thought was enjoyable was when the way she was using the lasso when she fought the bad guys in the mall. Like, it was a cool fight scene. Like, that was really it. The way she was lassoing them and pull them in and blocking the bullets with it. The Wonder Woman choreography of her fighting was okay, but that was like 10 minutes of the movie. Other than that, it was so slow and boring in the middle when her and Steve Trevor are just having, like, playing grab ass walking around Washington, D.C. in the 80s. I mean, it was so stupid. I don't care about their love story in the first movie, and I don't care about it now. I mean, you know, it was just so bad.
I mean, the Steve Trevor love story, I mean, that's fine, but, you know, we wasted 15 minutes on, you know, let's try on parachute pants.
Yeah, there's so much wasted.
Oh,
yeah.
2.5 hours of so much wasted shit. You know, him talking to his dumb kid for 10 minutes about stuff, and the stupid kid, like, the wish shit, all the dumb wishing that everybody was doing stupid wishes, and I hope you die, and the fat lady starts dying in the diner. It's like, what is happening here? What is going on in this movie?
I also want to know how Maxwell Lord, even before he got the wish powers, how he had that huge ass headquarters that was empty of people, but, you know, real estate in the 80s, even in DC, there's no way you could afford that.
Wasn't it like a pyramid scheme guy?
He was doing.
Yeah, he was, I guess.
It was a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. He was selling oil that he didn't have. I mean, it was so convoluted. It didn't need to be there at all. I mean, it was so bad. It was like Maxwell Lord, and I love that guy too. He's a great actor. He was so stupid in that movie. Everything he did was so stupid. The end when he's like screaming and yelling into the energy cloud, I was like, oh my God.
You want to know what that scene reminded me of?
Hector Hammond.
No. The even worse was the Riddler scene with Jim Carrey from Batman Returns.
Yeah, when his head's real big and he's
Yeah.
like all the
Barbara Minerva reminded me of Edward Nygma from Batman. Number 2.
Yes. Batman
Very
Forever.
similar to that character.
Yeah. If you're like a dorky person, you trip over shit when you enter an office. You're very
Poison Ivy from that same movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're very from the Poison Ivy is from the second one, was from Batman and Robin. But yeah,
Yeah.
Real stupid, real goofy, doesn't know what they're doing.
You can basically describe any of the Batman villains from that Tim Burton run that way.
When you get wish powers, then you dress a little sexy and you come out with your high heels on, and then every guy you walk by is a rapist. Trust me, they're all rapists. Hey baby, where you going? Going down
That could have been another downfall from the Wish too. That could have been one of the monkey paw things.
What I've known is I've seen about 7 different articles from Warner Brothers that are like on IMDb and comicbook.com, all saying Maxwell Lord's wish powers explained. Barbara's cheetah powers explained. Like, here we go again. When you gotta explain that movie to me in a fucking article from an interview that you had with the goddamn director, then the movie's good. I should be able to understand power from watching your fucking film, not from reading about it or having Justin explain it to me about why it worked or whatever. That's not good. That means the movie sucked.
But Justin's very good at explaining things. Well, a lot of things go over your head.
I pay attention for these things, I've seen enough of these movies, I think, to qualify me as someone that knows what he's talking about. We've reviewed 1 million movies on this show.
We have to explain half of them to you.
This movie was bad. It was bad. You watch a movie like Captain America, the First Avenger, or Winter Soldier, you didn't need any of that explained to you afterwards. Like, well, what was his powers, or where did he come from? You pretty much know what happened. You didn't have to watch and go, how the fuck do wish powers work? Why does he have? First of all, why does he have wish powers? It was don't understand why you have wish powers.
It was some kind of god.
It's so dumb. Maxwell Lord can stand on his own as a good villain.
It was basically their Loki, from what it sounded like. It was like a mischief god kind of thing.
Yep.
God of mischief. So I don't know. I thought it was absolutely horrible, and I think it's right up there for me as one of the worst. So we ready to review it? Give it some ratings?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead then, Justin.
2.
All right, Lance.
2.5.
Brock.
I will also say 2.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a half a star. For, that one fight scene that was good, it gets a half of a star, barely. Barely gets a half of a star.
I still can't believe that you thought this was as bad or worse than Fantastic Four.
Well, I'll explain to you why. Okay, so Fantastic Four.
Well, it had Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan in it. He was likable. Ben and Reed, I like their relationship in the beginning of the movie before it goes haywire. Like, I liked their relationship. Like, Reed stuck up for him, or Ben stuck up for him, helped him out. Reed was an inventor. They were likable in the beginning of that movie. There were scenes in that movie it went off the rails with the whole Doctor Doom thing and all that. But, the general premise of the beginning of the movie is enjoyable. Like, I there's parts of it that are enjoyable.
The Thing, no pants on. The The adopted storm children.
It's 1 star. It's 1 star movie. This movie. I have actually gone back and watched that Fantastic Four movie, I think once or twice after that. When it came on Disney Plus, I actually watched it again. I will never watch this movie again. This movie is 2.5 hours, and it's so boring. At least the Birds of Prey movie was short. You know, it was like
it's slow. It's slow.
I think the term you're looking for is mercifully short.
It was well, Birds of Prey is another one that gets 1 fucking star. But like this movie was so long and boring. I mean, like I had to pause it and like go take a nap and then come back and turn it on because I'm like I don't want to fall asleep and miss something. Then I'll be like, well, I missed the only part that was good. But like it was so boring.
I fell asleep toward the end. I had to watch it again.
Everybody I watched it with was passed out by the end of this movie. Like they just couldn't hang with it. You know,
it was slow.
Slow and such a letdown because Wonder Woman, the first one, is such a good movie. It's so well done. I love what she did with it. I had nothing but high hopes for this movie. Maybe that's why I like. Birds of Prey going in, I had no expectations. Same thing with Fantastic Four. This movie, I was really fucking excited about. Like, I love Patty Jenkins. I loved her as Wonder Woman. Cheetah's in it. Okay, this sounds great. Like, yeah, let's have it. I love Cheetah. I love her Joker to Batman, Cheetah to Wonder Woman, Lex to Superman. Like, Cheetah's Legion of Doom. I love the Legion of Doom. Like, there was nothing about the trailer or any of the stuff that made me think like this isn't going to kick ass. Like I couldn't fucking wait for it. You know, like finally when everyone settled down on Christmas, I was like, let's go. I want to watch Wonder Woman. I can't fucking wait for this movie. And the movie started off and I was like, all right.
You actually text me, does it speed up? This is really slow.
Right? You know, and I'm like, well, here's Maxwell Lord. Let's see what they do. What? What's he doing? What? You know, like, yeah, it's just let me down so bad. More than any other comic book movie has ever let me down, I think. I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan, and this was shit. But, you know, I love Gal Gadot, so hopefully they'll make a better one and do something afterwards with it. But this was shit. This was a half-star piece of shit is what it was. And see, my mother loved it because she loved the love story. Oh, I was so touched that love story. I was like,
well, it's funny. I actually liked the way they brought Steve back until I thought about it.
They killed that guy.
And I was like, what the hell happened to that poor guy? Like, if she hadn't rescinded her wish, like, was he just dead? What, like...
Have no parents?
Or, I was going to say, did he have no one that would miss him?
Yeah.
Said it was a person not using his life, a lost soul, or
and they made comments about how all the pictures in his apartment were just of him alone. Like they talked about how he didn't have any like.
Because if you have no like brothers or sisters,
you deserve to die.
Yeah, apparently I'm locked.
See ya, Justin.
Oh, that's just.
New game.
Now I have one question. Would this movie have been better if we weren't comic book nerds?
No.
Oh.
I think it would have been worse.
It's getting.
I mean, my father-in-law watched it for me, and he's never watched any movies. He was like, "Is this supposed to be good? I'm not getting it." And I'm like, "No, it's not. It's shit." You know. I don't know. I mean, did Gretchen like it?
She liked it. She said it wasn't. I mean, she was with me. It wasn't as good as the first one.
How about Diana? Did she like it?
No, she said that she thought there was way too much in it.
Yeah.
Not that like the 15-minute getting dressed scene and all that stuff. Like, just so much filler.
She's right. She's absolutely right.
She said there were too many villains too. She said you only needed one.
Exactly. You just needed Cheetah in modern times. That's it. That's all you needed. You know. I don't know why it had to be in '84. I have no idea. I still to this day have no idea why this movie takes place in 1984.
They could tie it into the whole Cold War thing. That's the only reason I can think of.
Get rid of all that. Get rid of all
Yeah,
that.
but I mean, if you wanted to do that, do it in '65. Do it with the Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, there's tons of other opportunities.
The X-Men already did that. Or you don't even have to do it that. You just do it in modern times. I mean, it's not like there's not nuclear weapons now or like riots in our streets and everything.
Governments.
Corrupt governments that you couldn't tie to nowadays. I mean, shit. I mean, there's enough crap in this year going on that you could have tied things to.
I did like Ronald Reagan though.
Yeah.
The president. Yeah, I mean, it was just, God, it was just awful. It's awful. So there you go.